Mic check 1 2 1 2. Our notifications working. Who's out there? Maybe nobody. We're still gonna do this. Yeah, we're going for another round. It is midnight. We'll see who's lurking. Went live earlier this morning with a police proceeding. Yeah, tragic accident. Police sergeant hit by vehicle along with another pedestrian. Caught a little of that helicopter footage earlier. And then we went for an official round later in the day. Rocked for about a little over an hour and a half. So that was cool. Dragonfly. What a blazer. All right, we got some friends hanging out. Hope everyone enjoyed their Monday as we cruise into Tuesday here on the West Coast. Yeah, earlier I mentioned my sister. One of my sisters had invited me for dinner, sent me a text while we were live, gave them a shout out. And luckily I was able to get that delivered, which is awesome. Much love to them. But soon after, I got a call from my sister again, and she was in need of some help. Her vehicle had took a dump. And I was like, I'll be right there. Luckily, she wasn't far, and I was able to help her. Got all that straightened out, and but during all that, we got to hang out for a bit, which was fun too. During that, we missed the chase. There was a speed chase, so we'll check that out in a minute, see what happened there. But yeah, earlier stream was pretty good. I felt pretty satisfied with it, although we had more Bigfoot stuff to get into out of Siskiyou County. So we'll get into that a little more. We're just going to hang out here for a little bit. So no pressure. Just chill, kick back if you want, fall asleep in chat, do what you got to do. Even if you got to go, hey, it's all good. Yeah, there's been some updates with some of the world news. We'll have a look at that. So we left off last with the Qatar attacks that were intercepted, is what we were told, or what we were reading earlier. And since then, there's been some updates also. And here we have, what is this? Let's see. This is NDTV World with an article here. It says Israel-Iran war live updates. Iran says ceasefire for now after launching multiple missiles at Israel. And I also heard, the president announced also about the ceasefire, which is a good thing, but who knows? I don't know. Information with all this is, all over the place. So I don't know what anyone else has been hearing out there. What's up, Hillbilly Herb? Poncho Zorch. Greetings. Yeah, morning. And so I was hearing also through other sources that even after the ceasefire, it was supposed to kick in, like when I had heard it was like 6 hours till it kicked in. But during that, and I heard even after that, I'm not sure, that there was still some attacks, possibly some fatalities. So who knows? And let's see. This also says here that Israel Iran attacks, live updates. Tehran said there was no, in quotes, no agreement on a truce deal yet, and the fighting between the arch foes entered the 12th day. So a little update with that. So I'm still keeping an eye on things there. And Hillbilly Herb with the comment here. Oh, seems to you, yeah, that the message about the ceasefire was fake. Yeah, so I don't know, man. You know, and I know I have maybe pulled like some onion articles in the past and stuff like that. So I try to be careful of certain websites, and I know a lot of them are questionable. Everything is questionable. And what else is going on this front? Checking to see if there's anything else along these lines that had my attention a little earlier. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. And hopefully, I mean, it'd be great if all that were to stop and we just start moving towards a positive direction, focusing on things that we should be doing. That'd be great. And it's possible. I believe anything is possible. So we'll take it moment by moment. Big up, everyone. Thank you for coming through. And yes, the unbiased news is hard to find these days. Or was it ever? Yeah, telling you, questions, so many questions. And hope you got one rolled up, Hillbilly. I just finished a little sesh here. And earlier also I was touching on this thing on Mount Shasta, and I totally, my dyslexia kicked in, so we'll make that correction now. Ancient origins, or it was touching on giants in the Mount Shasta area, unveiling the mysteries of the past. And then and it had a quote, and I think it's a quote from Lucy Thompson, and I didn't even read that part. I forgot to mention that there. Lucy Thompson has come up. You know, she's lived. She lived for a long time along the Klamath River and wrote a book, and we touched on that recently. And here she is popping up again on this article. And I read Legends of Mount Shasta, and I said the Adobe. Of course, there's where the dyslexia kicked in. The abode is what I meant to say. Sorry about that, folks. And that was on the last stream here, so correction there. The Devil Part 2. You know, it's talking about the Castle Crags. And we're getting into all that. And I've shared some of my little footage that I took at a Castle Crag, so we won't do that tonight. But I like to do that anytime we bring up places that I've been and I have, you know, video or pictures from there. I usually will share that, but we've done that before, so we'll skip that this time. And yeah, I got to make it back to Castle Crags there. And so correction. Glad I caught that. And yeah, you know, she would call, they mentioned they would call the Bigfoots the mountain devils. And I'm sure we were bringing her up when we got into the whole trip on areas named Devil, Diablo, the devil references to areas, and how the different terms to Bigfoots that are kind of devil related also. Kind of these negative Almost negative terms towards the Sasquatches. Yeah, so earlier tonight we missed a chase here locally. We get the chases quite a bit here in Los Angeles, and anytime we could catch them live, we will do it. And there's been a couple times where we missed it by a hair, and so we'll do the replay, and we're gonna go ahead and run that tonight. It's luckily it doesn't seem to be a long one, and I briefly peeked at it just to make sure that happened today. I was like, darn, I didn't see that. We were hanging out all day, and I didn't get a notification until later that I was checking things. I seen that uh we had missed something there, so we'll have a look at that too. A little sneak peek here on what's been going on. And there's actually, I got two citizen app notifications right now of two other chases. There's one going on in the Hollywood Hills not too long ago, and I don't think maybe tomorrow morning, if one of the choppers got footage, we'll be able to see some of that. And there was also another one out towards Granada, Granada Hills. And we'll see later if there's any footage of that. Sometimes we'll get the footage, even though it doesn't go live, or maybe it doesn't get shown during a news broadcast. And so right here we got let's see, who's this? This is Fox 11. So I wonder, maybe it was Stu up on there. And we'll turn this up just in case there's some audio. So heads up there. And here we go. So South Broadway and West 70th Street. It seems to be a Dodge. Could be a Charger there. And we've seen several of those Charger chases. Whoa. And look at that. There's that misty, I wouldn't call that June gloom, but that funky haze there has been lingering around quite a bit. And even up at I was checking out the Oregon cams. Look at them just cutting lanes straight to the fast lane there. That might be the carpool lane even. Looks like he's transitioning there to possibly another highway. The metro train goes through there. So that's the 110 South. Now, if he was going the opposite way, I think he'd be heading towards the airport, which is a lot of times what these guys do. And look at the speeds they're hitting, almost 150 there for a second ago. And all aboard, the train is here as well. Grab your luggage and your tickets. Don't forget your pets and your smokes, folks. The train is here. Maybe you'll catch a choo-choo in the background there, but this guy is flying. What up, Russell? Juliana, yes, a sneak peek tonight. We missed this one earlier. I was out helping a big sis out. She had a little car trouble. And just what a blessing to have the day off and be able to help fam out. We're there in a jiffy. I took off here. I didn't even, big boom outside. Yeah, I'm in my chanclas, my sandals, basketball shorts. But as soon as I got that call, I was like this guy. Flew right over there. Luckily, she wasn't far. And we were able to pinpoint the issue. We did need a AAA, the vehicle to the car dealership, which was 6 minutes away. It just all worked out. Got it there on time. And now going through the Pico Union district, downtown. So this guy's headed downtown, straight to downtown. We see that happen quite a bit too. And people have gotten away in the downtown area. Also, you wouldn't think so, but it does happen. What's up, Russell? Who else? We got Fast Hemi pulling up. He likes these types of things. I'm sure he's hauling gas and ass, says Fast Hemi. And again, these guys probably have a full tank. How do they do that? And here we are, some of the big buildings getting in the way here. He's getting near 3rd Street there. On the 110 freeway now. See a big old LA graffiti tag there. Jeez. Watch out. This guy is in a rush, folks. Don't get in his way. Russell sharing a comment there. T-Bone, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Glad you're up in here hanging out. And we were hanging out earlier. Whose chat was it? T-Bone out there buying T-Bone steaks for chats, buying memberships also for folks. And that's super cool to see, T-Bone. You're always super supportive like that. And we are blessed to have you, brother. Yes. Much love to you. Send T-Bone some hearts and everyone else. Juliana, Russell, everyone out there. Dragonfly. Yeah, Blazer, you get some hearts too. Hillbilly gets hearts. Fast Hemi. Anybody lurking? So, look at that. Where's he at now, folks? You're throwing the grid up. Uh-oh. Stu, we lost them. Where'd they go, folks? Where did they go? Geez, what building is that there? Should know this.
Stu, I think we lost him.
Yeah, that's true, Russell. Full tank does not defend against the spike strip. When deployed properly. I've seen them miss quite a few times. Oh, yes, that was over at Texas. Yeah, of course you brought, oh, there's City Hall there. I see that big old eggplant. You know, that's a phallic building there. Art Deco style-y. And there goes the metropolis that is Los Angeles. Ay, ay, ay. Continuous raids from those cold agencies. There's been some brutal ones. There's one yesterday, I believe it was. Yeah, it was a bad one. And that one's making the rounds. And so watch out, folks. The cray is turning up. And all those helipads on all those buildings, those are all portals there, I believe. Heliportals. They should have the H on there, right? Yeah, there's something about those helipads in movies. They seem to be portals like phone booths, closets, mirrors, water sources. What other portals are out there, folks? Name some portals for us. We want to know as we try to figure out where we lost these suspects. And just like that, another Dodge Charger gone. Yeah, y'all remember the one we had just a few weeks ago where they also near downtown LA They made their way under a bridge, and eventually the Dodge Charger started rolling out one side of the bridge, and both doors were open, and nobody there were, it was ghost riding, gone. Some of you might have caught that. And so, yeah, a little quick chase there, hitting high speeds. Watch out, folks. Yeah, lots of Timu official federal officers patches out there. And yeah, so that brings to mind also with a new, I won't be pulling the article up, but maybe some of you, and Russell saying, wait, that's not funny. Yeah, I just seen an article on them trying to pass a law to make it illegal for law enforcement to cover their faces. I don't know about that. Yeah, I love the ghost riding in the mountains on the quad. Uh-oh. Yeehaw to that. No, and I would see up on the hill, Southern Humboldt, Juliana, headed up into Alder Point. And there's areas there where, you could tell dudes are out there and it's like 2 lanes and doing donuts. It's burning tire. You just see all the tire marks and stuff. It's like, man, I'm glad I wasn't here while that was happening. And we get so a lot of wild stuff like that happens up on the hills too, folks. Don't get it twisted. It's not only the city here, although out in the city we get these street takeovers that get gnarly. You see kids getting hit, all types of people getting run over, pew-pewing. Oh man, it's just wild stuff. I stay away from those things. Kick it into neutral. Turn that sucker off and listen to the rest of nature. You just need a good downhill grade for the adventure, says Juliana. Russell says, yep, Oregon's up on that one. Scary, says Hillbilly. Hillbilly's probably the guy doing the donuts out there up on the hills. And yeah, I'll say it again. We had speaking of the hills out here, we had a chase in the hills also. We'll keep an eye out. Maybe we'll get footage of that. We'll share that also because I'd like to see how that goes. Because these Hollywood hills, those, there's some steep hills there and super tight streets. Just like our street here, super tight. It's amazing. I find parking daily. And there's been times where don't find parking. You got to just figure it out somehow. And yeah, lately our block here, I'm gonna have to call the city, I guess, because the streetlights have been out for like going on 2 weeks now. I don't know if anyone else has noticed in the neighborhood. Apparently not, because I haven't seen anything done about it. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm the only one who's noticing. I'm like, dude, it seems a little dark around here. It's kind of creepy when that happens. But luckily, there's some light from obviously the houses that have power, but our street lights are out here. Ooh, hear a little knocking in the background. Could be fireworks. Could be pew pews. Who knows? We did get a citizens app alert for our town here, our little city here earlier. I've given hints more or less where I'm at. There's some pew pewing and some screaming going on. I hit my nephew up to see if he heard anything over on that side of town. He said no, but yeah, always things popping out here. It is a wild world, isn't it? But what a ride. Yeah, we bought the ticket and here we are having a little fun. All right, so let's see. Siskiyou County, it's been on the mind a whole lot. What's going on, Siskiyou? And it's funny, on my way to work, there's a street sign There's a Medford Street right around here. It's up in Oregon, but we have a Medford Street nearby here. But on my way to work, we have a Siskiyou Street that I pass daily. So I guess I have it on the mind all the time. Every time I pass you, Siskiyou. So we've been touching on some possible true crime in the area, some missing person cases, as there are a lot of in that area in Northern California and above and below. It's everywhere. Just got to dig sometimes. And yeah, we've been doing a little digging, sharing. And yeah, these are areas that are also known for other high strangeness. And then one of them, of course, being Bigfoot. And yeah, we'll be touching more on that. We read we didn't get into the reports, but we touched on the BFRO and their list of submitted reports. It was quite a bit. I think it was like 30 something, 32, 33. And we just read off the titles of them. And even that took a little bit of time. But we'll get into some more. And I found some other sources. And we'll scan through some of those reports. We won't fully go through them, I don't think, unless something really screams out to be read. Anyway, let's see. We do have also a new report submitted to the Bigfoot Mapping Project. And also there's been, speaking of missing persons, also there was the case out of the Sierra Nevadas, the young lady that was missing for quite a bit. And I've been hearing some updates on that. And that is the case of Tiffany Slayton. Y'all remember this one? Yeah, we were following that once we got word. And we know the Sierra Nevadas is one of those areas with well, you have Yosemite there being the like ground zero for the missing 411 phenomenon. And so anytime the Sierras come up, it grabs our attention. At least those of us that are into the topic or into the subject of the strange missing person cases. I do follow also criminal stuff. I like to be aware of things. I like to mention that. And especially places we go and or places I plan to go. But yeah, they're saying let's see there, and this is let's see. All right, this is a search on a Brave search. For some reason I thought it was Reddit or something. And Reddit is, it's a good source for stuff. I see. I've heard a lot of questionable stuff from there, but I see a lot of more people using it as a source of information and sharing and stuff. So, I'll be tapping in more to the Reddit things. And anyway, so let's see. Tiffany Slayton changes story. There have been claims and discussion about Tiffany Slayton's story changing. And I questioned it. I was gonna go a little deeper. If you remember her press conference, she was wearing a yellow dress, and they talked about her having the Cinderella syndrome, I believe they called it. And it's, I guess, where you walk a certain way, almost like on your tippy toes or something like that. I think is what they described. Like if you're wearing high heels or something like that. And I don't know how much they brought that up, but I clearly remember that. And I also remember that it was her birthday the day of or before the press conference or the day after. It was right there, her birthday. So I thought that was interesting. And I started going in on the whole Cinderella thing, and there was some interesting stuff, but it was a yellow dress. Usually Cinderella's depicted in a blue dress. There is a thing with the yellow Cinderella dress and stuff. And so I started going down a rabbit hole. And then I noticed a YouTube channel going in on her story changing and bringing all this stuff up. So I was like, oh, what? And so I did a little search here. And then according to the search, it's saying, yeah, something about the story changing with some individual expressing skepticism about the consistency of her account. Some users, oh, yes, here we go, Reddit. Some users on Reddit have pointed out discrepancies in her story, such as her claims about finding leaks in the snow. Yeah, remember she survived on leaks in the snow, or the feasibility of her journey, suggesting that parts of her narrative may not align with the actual conditions in the Sierra Nevadas. And it goes on a bit there. So, yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to check this out. Let's see. A seasoned outdoorsman, Jeff Aiello, questioned aspects of her story, particularly her account of an avalanche blocking her path. Nothing there was no avalanche in the, let's see, nothing that there was no avalanche in the Sierra during the time she claimed it occurred. And sorry, I got that bugged out look. I'm trying to concentrate on the little letters there. Let's see here. It says, additionally, there were questions raised about the practicality of her travel methods, such as traveling from Portland to Fresno on an e-bike, and the presence of food she was allergic to on her trip. Despite these doubts, Slayton's parents have stood by her story, stating that she does not give false statements. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office has also retracted parts of her path and found evidence to validate her story, indicating that questions raised by various individuals suggesting that there may be elements of her story that have changed or been exaggerated. And I also heard through the YouTube streets that apparently the sheriff went on a small, I guess, a friend's podcast or something like that to touch on this whole changes of stories subject. And so I'll have to be taking a look at that here soon, see what he has to say about all that. And Juliana says, you see straight stretch. They stuck in the middle of my ranch, dwarf. That was eminent domain, but the late night dragsters sure love it. You got people sneaking in there? What's going on? We got to go regulate. In shock, I had to go expense the other week because somebody went through it. It was straight stretch. How do you not go straight? All right. Figuring that out here. Catching up with the chat there, Shelly. Greetings. What's up, Roger? Roger got the notification. Right on. Roger's chilling. What up, Rid? Rid snuck up in here. The shop will be back open tomorrow. Just a heads up, Rid. No pressure. Come on through whenever, man. What up, Lee? Y'all know Lee has a channel here, First Floor Audio. Yeah, with live music, live singing. Lee really gets down. I really love your setup, Lee. Background. I mean, again, live music on the spot. It's just off the hook. Great show over there. First Floor Audio. Ivy Ramirez, what's up? Good to see you.
First floor audio.
And yeah, I'm hearing more possible also through the YouTube streets. So just a heads up, we don't know confirmation, but possible updates on the two missing brother and sister out of Nova Scotia. We talked about that case. What was it, like a month or so ago? And from what I hear, no updates on finding them yet, but some channels out there on the tube have been claiming possible video of the kids or something like that. I'm not sure if that's all true. But according to this here, CBC News Nova Scotia, I did check this out a little earlier. See the channel there. According to the authorities up there, no updates on the kids yet. And so yeah, I don't know. I checked out one of this guy was live streaming last night and I think earlier today. I'm not familiar with the channel, but his thumbnail was saying something about a video of the kids popping up. I think the mom possibly putting them in the car, and so little things like that. Again, no confirmation, but just a heads up there. Anyone find anything uh, of new with this case here? Let us know. I'd like to know what's going on in that with that. Been following it as much as possible. And so there's some updates on some of those cases we've been following and reporting on. Boom. Hillary, welcome in. How you doing? All right, Bigfoot mapping project. Let's see. We're going to head back up to Siskiyou County. That is where Mount Shasta is, Castle Crags State Park. And so many of you are, I'm sure, familiar with the legends of Mount Shasta. And let's see here. Before we make our way up there, there was also, while we're leaving Nova Scotia, there was a report added to the Bigfoot mapping project out of Ottawa, Canada. But I noticed they that quickly got removed. I think it lasted for like a day or so. And then I was no longer wasn't able to find it. It was no longer visible. And so I don't know if it got removed. Maybe it was because you get those submitted pranks sometimes. And we have read them. It happens. But yeah, we're going to check this out. I see a new dot here, and it looks like to be almost in the Florida area. Could be Georgia. Maybe someone could guess. Let's see. Look at this over here. And you should be able to see it there. Let's see. We'll double check. And yeah, we got an orange little dot here. We're going to zoom in on that. Virginia, we touched on that one. Let's see. Well, in case we didn't, there's one out of Virginia, green dot lit up there, 6/13/2025, 11:30 p.m. No height description, but they said it's a male, and it vocalized several Bigfoot communicating and breaking tree limbs. The communication was loud, whooping sounds. Yeah. No young seen, no footprints, and no additional comments. That's Virginia there, but we're going to cruise on down. This is a new one here. and that is out of Georgia. We'll try to zoom in and see if we could spot a nearby town. Date and time of sighting 6/19/2025, 10 p.m. 7.5 footer. All right. And they described their encounter was driving west on Highway 144 to meet with a friend. I noticed it about 50 yards away in the right side. It says ode, maybe it meant of, the road at a long stride pace towards the woods. It looked straight at me with red eyes. Ooh, maybe Bigfoot was baked. Very dark with red, almost glowing eyes. Ooh, maybe he had some of that real high grade. I will never forget it. Oof. Color was black. All right. Nice report there. Actually, both of them. And it seems to be a little southwest of Savannah. You can see Savannah there on the right. So Hinesville. Maybe we've got a page.
Jessica Jones to the office. We got a Sasquatch report out of Georgia.
Right on. All right. Couple Bigfoot mapping project reports there. And we'll go ahead and check BFRO, although I don't think anything's been submitted as of late since the last report we read. But you never know. Sometimes we get lucky and they'll slap one on there. And there you go. Fresh, hot report. So quick little dive to BFRO. And earlier we did scan a few at a Siskiyou. We scanned most of them at a Siskiyou County. So just a heads up, if you want to hear some of the titles of those reports, you could check out the earlier stream from today or yesterday at this point. And maybe one of those reports will catch your interest and you'll click on the link and finish reading the reports there. All right. All right. Quick check here. Microphone checker. 1 2 1 2. Here we go. All right. Nothing new there. Still the last report, a Class B, 2 hikers described hearing Bigfoot-like sounds near Indian Point out of
Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, I've heard of that place. I forget what stories I've heard out of Garden of the Gods, but with a name like that, got to put that on the list. What state is that in? Did I miss it again? I didn't read that. Someone remind me. And lately, the Google Earth has been throwing me off of the streams. Sometimes I'll mess with it, and so we won't touch it too much tonight. Probably not at all. But we should double check just to make sure. Oh, there we go. It did it again. So let's see. Could we go here? All right, just a heads up. This might be the end of the stream if I can't get my. All right, here we go. Here we go. Did I lose y'all? I think so. So maybe you could still see me. But this has been happening when I pull up the Google Earth. Screen went blank there. I think I know what it is. When I go to share it, it'll cut me off. So I can't get the screen back. Oh, dang it. Let's see. All right. Well, we got a Bigfoot report in there. We'll continue on maybe later as it's getting pretty late. Got to have a little fun. But just a heads up, if the stream continues after this, don't watch it because it won't be on here. We're gonna cut this off here, and we'll save these other reports for maybe mañana, God willing. Well, we're already at tomorrow, maybe later today. Ja willing. Yeah, man. Bless up everyone. Thank you for hanging out, and yeah, we'll see you in a few hours from the shop, and we'll get into these other reports. I got some other sources. So we'll be touching on Bigfoot reports, Siskiyou County. Come say what's up, y'all. Cheers.